Hey, so I thought I'd do a similar video about some new true crime based on a true story type movies I got for my collection. Can't remember if I talked about autofocus before, but it is based on the life of Bob Crane, played by Greg Kinnear. He's most famous for Hogan's Heroes. Um, he was also very into recording and videoing his hookups with women back in the day. Um, and eventually he was found bludgeoned in bed, and his murder was never really solved. Uh, and the movie basically charts his rise to fame and then sort of his downfall to fame. He starts doing like low budget movies and dinner theater, whatever work he can get to provide for his family. He gets divorced, he remarries, and so on. It's a very good period piece, and it's a good movie. Um, but I think the guy led a very tragic life. He was overcome by well, his addiction to sex, I guess you would say. All right, I'm going to move on to the 1517 to Paris. This movie is interesting in that it has the real participants. They grew up together as kids and they came together for a trip to Paris, which was under siege by terrorists. Like I said, the adult versions of the characters are played by the actual real people who went through it. So it gives it a little bit more realism than if they just, hired random actors, super good looking, typical Hollywood. And I've read like some people say, oh, not a lot happens in the movie. It's not that exciting, blah, blah, blah. And I think it's more about their friendship and what they went through on the train and growing up. So I definitely liked it. It's a Clint Eastwood film, and I'm a fan of him. So I definitely liked it for what it was. Patriots Day, starring Mark Wahlberg. I have mixed feelings on Mark Wahlberg. This isn't his only movie he's done that's based on true story. I'll get into another one, but Patriots Day, of course, is about the Boston Marathon bombing and the spree afterwards that claimed the life of people. This is up there with United 93 for me. It's hard to watch. Not because it's a bad movie, not because the acting's bad. They're both good movies. They're both well acted and well filmed. It's just really hard to watch knowing it's based on true story. So I've only watched this movie once. I'm kind of working up the courage to watch it again, as corny as that sounds. Just knowing it all happened and it affected people and people's families, it's hard to watch. So it's one of those movies like United 93 I can only watch like once every couple of years. It's just really hard to watch. Yeah. So I'm going to move on to the program. It's about the rise and fall of Lance Armstrong and the cheating scandal of using steroids and what it meant for cycling and the sport in general. And he was beloved by the people. He won so many awards. People generally loved him. He went through cancer. He lost a testicle to cancer. And he had the people's support. And of course, his downfall when it was discovered that he was using steroids to compete in the sports tournaments. Really good movie. Almost like a docudrama, the way it's filmed. Really good cast. Just a really good movie. Really just gives you a deconstructed look at what goes on in the sport and whatnot, and how he got into the scandal. So, good movie. And I'm not even like a cycling fan, but I really like this movie a lot. The Billionaire Boys Club. This is a remake from, I think it's like a 1987, 1988 TV miniseries. This is based on two young guys. They start up the Billionaire Boys Club and they say, hey, if you invest your money with us, we can make you even richer with returns and you can live the good life with us. And for a while they do. They get a lot of investments, a lot of clients, they make a lot of money, they live the good life and party. And of course, just like everything, nothing is free in life. They realize, well, they don't realize, but we realize early on it's a Ponzi scheme. It's a pyramid scheme. Everything they put into the club doesn't come back to them. And of course, their clients start to realize, hey, I invested all this money with you. Where's my return? And of course, during all this, one of their main clients ends up murdered and the ensuing aftermath of that. So, from what I've read, it's not completely factual. They swap characters, motivations in this. They leave some parts out. So, I think it's still a good movie, though. Just know that it's not 100% factual to the case. You might want to read up on it for yourself, like I like to do. I haven't seen the higher rated TV miniseries. So, Billionaire Boys Club. I like it for what it is. It made me want to read up more on the real case. All right. This I got. It's a DVD pack. It has, let's see. It's got Speck, about Richard Speck. Let's see. Okay. This is one version of the Speck story. He's a serial killer who raped and murdered 8 young nursing students in Chicago. And one of his victims did escape by rolling behind one of the couches, I believe. And she was the sole survivor to tell the tale. There's another version of this movie that I have, starring Corin Semick. I think that's how you say his name. But he's been in a few other serial killer movies. He played Ted Bundy. And from what I remember, both versions kind of are out there. They don't really have the right timeline. I think the other Richard Speck movie stars Tony Todd as a detective. It's one of those weird serial killer movies where technology exists in the time that it shouldn't have, and you just look at all these mistakes and whatnot. So, both movies are interesting though. The Amy Fisher story, starring Drew Barrymore as Amy Fisher, and the scandalous true story of the Long Island Lolita saga. She falls in love with an older married man. They have a scandalous affair. She tries to get someone to kill the guy's wife, named Mary Jo. She ends up going to her house saying, "Oh, I'm a Girl Scout, I'm selling cookies," or some nonsense, and ends up shooting Mary Jo. And the resulting controversy and scandal. The Amy Fisher story, this is one version of the story. There's another version from Joey's point of view. There's another version with Alyssa Milano that was made for TV. So you have like 3 different versions of the story, which is kind of interesting. Murder So Sweet, a hometown heartthrob played by Harry Hamlin, marries the local beauties and then poisons them in this true story of a real lady killer. Murder So Sweet, aka the Kern County Murders. It's based on a guy named Steve Newlin in the movie. Basically, he infiltrates this group of women who are friends, who chat at the local salon together. He ends up marrying and going through them. And some of them end up getting murdered by eating his ice cream, until one of the women finally realizes, hey, something's up. There may be something more going on, with her friends getting married off and mysteriously getting murdered. It's a good TV movie of the week, and I liked it a lot. Faith of My Fathers. This is a TV movie about John McCain and based on his memoir. This is about his time where he is imprisoned as a soldier for years. He's tortured for years and kept in really, really rough conditions. Politics aside, it's one of those movies where you can appreciate what he went through, the triumph of the human spirit. I would have liked to know more about him as a person. It focuses mainly just on his time as a veteran and when he gets captured and his imprisonment, and basically right after. So, it's a good movie, but it really only focuses on his imprisonment. And I didn't really get a whole picture of what he's like as a person. So, I think I'll do some reading up on him, come to think of it. And last but not least, Deepwater Horizon, another Mark Wahlberg vehicle. this is a really good movie. It's about the Deepwater Horizon scandal of BP when, unfortunately, it explodes, killing several employees, injuring others, and the devastation on the environment and the wildlife and the families, of course. So it plays as a true story type movie and in a way as a disaster movie as well, based on true story, of course. Really good cast: Dylan O'Brien, Gina Rodriguez, John Malkovich, Kurt Russell, Kate Hudson as Mark Wahlberg's character's wife. At the end, you do see footage of the real people involved and their pictures and the victims. Really great special effects. You just really grow to like this ragtag group of people working on this oil rig and what they go through, just to make a buck, to make a living, and what they went through in this disaster. So, politics aside, it's a really good movie. And I was just really in awe of the special effects and just the bond of the people who lived and died on the rig. It's just really emotional, really good movie. So, wow. I talked for a really long time. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm not sure what I'll review next. I'm kind of in a lull. Something has to jump out for me to review something. I just don't review every movie I watch. So that's kind of why I did sort of this video, to kind of placate that for a little while. So who knows? I'll do another video in the future, hopefully. We'll see when it hits my fancy. So I hope you enjoyed this little rant. If you have any ideas for a review, let me know. And that's it for now. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.